Ready? Are we cracking on? Are we cracking on?
Cracking on 7 months later? 7?
7 months later. So last time we started this podcast,
I had a baby in my tummy.
Jemima was pretty much the same size, but
Oh.
she was growing a baby. Now we have it in the other room.
I'm kind of devo actually because not bragging, but a pregnancy suited me.
Yeah.
And it was actually such a cute bum, but now it's just kind of it's time to get back in the gym. But there's no time for that.
Does anyone else
Literally.
have these arguments about who goes to the gym when and who
There's
stays at
no
home with the
argument,
kids?
James, you just go and leave me with her.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. We'll work out our balance eventually. Anyway, intro, episode 3. Welcome back. What was the intro again?
Welcome back to the Power Couple Empire podcast.
Yeah, didn't we ever go?
Covering off all things business, lifestyle, and marriage as we go through the motions of life together.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So yes,
So welcome back. Welcome to 2024.
24. The new era, new season. We've
The year of doing less. Who would have thought all the older people that had businesses used to come into us and be like, oh, you realize one day you want to scale everything back. We literally realized in a year, thank you. We want to go back.
no, not just scale in a different way. You know, I think, and this is the thing. Yeah, I put up a story today. It was just like there's two types of people. There's beasts in the trenches, and then there's bitches on the benches. And it's like we've always been in the trenches, and I think that's why we've made so many mistakes. But that's why we've gotten as far as what we have so quickly. Because we're just sort of head down, bum up. Okay, let's do this. Let's see what works. Sweet, that works. Keep cracking on. This doesn't work. Righto, learn from it.
Pivot.
move
Change.
forward,
Do something different. Yeah.
So, we're always thinking about scaling. We're always wanting to grow. But 2024, so I should say, we'll recap on 2023 because I guess that was the point of this episode. It's been 7 months since our last one. So a lot has changed. There has been a ridiculous amount of turbulence that we're going to share with you.
One day.
We'll share with you a little bit on this episode, but right now the dust is still settling with some of it. So it still hurts a bit, and we've still got some
Things
going on in the background that we need to sort out. And a lot of it has to do with the S word, staff.
Gotta love them.
But I hate calling them staff, team. But unfortunately, we had some people that weren't team members. They didn't know how to play as a team. And
maybe for somebody else's team, but not for this team. And James and I are we truly believe, we know that we are really good bosses and we provide good opportunities. So it's if we're not rowing the same way together, we'll always try and make things work. But unfortunately, sometimes making things work that much is actually to our detriment.
Yeah, dude.
All it did was hurt us.
It hurts. The more we put in, obviously, because
Really
you get super passionate about trying to help other people, and it's a two-way street. Don't get it wrong. We want to help our team so that we grow as well. But when you're pouring all of your energy into people and you don't get anything back, you eventually you get burnt out, and that's essentially what we've sort of discovered, and we've decided to reflect on over the break.
And that reminds me of that podcast. I listened to a really good podcast the other day by Jay Shetty, and it was about people pleasing, the 7 signs you're a people pleaser and 7 methods to sort of counteract your people pleasing tendencies. And I was talking to you about this in the car yesterday. It's there's people pleasing and there's people passionate. You can be motivated to help people and be driven in helping people and do everything you can to help people and help people grow and help people excel, and that can be your passion. But it doesn't actually mean that you're people pleasing, because if you're a people pleaser, you just get drained. and we spend so much of our time, so much of our business pleasing other people to the point where like we come home and sit on the couch and we like don't even speak to each other. We're just like, oh my God, I can't even give energy to the person that I love the
Well,
most.
we speak to each other, but we're usually speaking about the people that we're trying to help,
Please.
that we're trying to please. And so we went to backtrack a little bit, invest a lot of time and money in people in 2023.
And a lot of time in like expanding our business in the area we're already playing in and in other areas.
And you know, through the fog of war at the start of 2023, we had like massive momentum, and you know, we brought on people out of because we were growing so quickly, and you know, we brought on people that were out of alignment with our values, and which we couldn't quite see at the time, I guess, or we might have overlooked because we were more focused on short-term gain and
Or plugging holes, I think.
plugging holes, replacing people just quickly because we're so busy that it just slowly started to decay internally. You know, we had about 20 staff.
More? I think we had like 22 at one point.
Yeah, like
Anyway.
stupid. And anyway,
But a lot of this also, like, a lot of this stemmed from the fact that we should say the best thing that happened to us in 2023 is that we had our daughter.
we did.
And now I'm getting really emotional talking about it because she was the best thing that has ever happened to us. But a lot of all of the things that we were doing within our business was to try to help me to be able to enjoy maternity leave, not be so stressed, take on elements of my role. And then in hindsight, like, let's be honest, I'll just speak very frankly. The 2 weeks before I had her was nearly the worst 2 weeks of our life in business. It was so stressful. It impacted my labour. It made things very, very stressful for the baby and for me, leaving us both sort of wounded. But now we've come into 2024 and we've kind of just like axed so many things. All of the people that we were putting in place to sort of help me and replace me, like all of them are gone, all the contractors, all the staff. And it's like we're actually managing probably better than what we were when we had those things in place. Well, because we slowed down. So instead of being, you know, so reactive, like I'm just focusing on doing the elements of my job that are the things that I can sort of control.
I think the biggest sort of mindset shift for us was we went to Kerwin Rae's Nail It and Scale It event. I think that was like the biggest thing for me that made me sort of just like snap out of this
spinning
frenzy of like chasing revenue as opposed to you know, I'll backtrack again. The reason I got into business in the first place was I just got back from overseas and I wanted to come home and build a cash machine so that I could go and travel and experience life, you know, without a budget and with, you know, financial abundance, so I could travel and experience life like on a new level. And so obviously I went hell for leather, really just trying to double down on building a beast. And so, you know, completely tunnel vision on revenue, that I sort of lost sight of like my values and, you know, the original vision, which was, you know, to, you know, build an abundance of wealth with, you know, an abundance of time. And because I was now attached to this absolute beast of a business, generating massive cash flow, but I was just like burning the candle at both ends. And we had the wrong people in our team, and we had people stealing from us. We had people that just like
overqualified,
just take
people.
and no fucking give. Yeah, we went to Kerwin Rae's and we had to get really clear on our purpose. And like, for me, I did a lot of reflecting, and I just feel like I was sort of looking at what I was doing in business, and I'm just like, I'm investing so much time, energy, and passion into people that have no motivation or passion. And, you know, there's probably going to be a couple of staff members, team members that listen to this. And there is a small percentage of those team members that I will give till the end of the earth for. But there's been a lot that have just taken from me, and in many ways. And
I mean, they might not even be aware of it, because like
No.
people do actually lack a lot of self-awareness. I think we talk about this all the time. We joke about it. We can actually be quite mean to people on social media that we see. But people in this society, in this age and period that we're living in, lack awareness, lack consideration, and like I think that genuinely people don't even know like how they're actually they don't even understand how they're behaving is so
they're
whack.
because they're plugged in on the fucking Matrix roller coaster. They're just like plugged in on, looking at.
We have our
scrolling,
tinfoil hats on, by the way.
scrolling on social media,
Comparing
eating,
ourselves to
addicted
others.
to sugar, not exercising.
Yeah.
This cycle of like
Blaming everybody else.
victim
victim
mentality.
mentality,
And so we've got people like that are in our organisation, or that were in our organisation, and I'm just like, I said, I'm done. Like, I'm passionate about like building people, helping people, and growing my business. And so we're not sort of fucking around in 2024. And so we exited our Kahuna store. So we had obviously the 3 locations. We exited our Kahuna store, which was like a success in so many ways for us.
100%. And we the last time that we filmed a podcast, we just put it on the market for sale, and given the current economic climate and the state of retail and trade services and blue collar businesses, like it was kind of like a stab in the dark, wasn't it? It was like, if this doesn't sell, like we were at the point where we just could not take any more because of all this other going on. But we were just gonna close the doors, and like we built that business with no money down, and people don't understand that. And people have this conception about what we've done and think that we've got loans, like we've got loans for vehicles and loans for bits and pieces, but that business, all we did was, as soon as it made money, we invested in something else. It made a bit more money, then we invested in something else. We invested in different equipment. We invested in this. We invested in that. So for us to just, sadly, give all the staff their notice and close the doors and sell the equipment, like it wasn't like we were going to, lose tens of thousands of dollars.
It wouldn't have been it would have been an emotional loss.
It would have been a shame, because it was a good little business, but we just literally could not take any more.
And the realization that we had as well with having the 3rd location, like what we net profited out of that business, and the staff that we had there pretty much put us over that threshold with payroll tax, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
pay as you go. So like as soon as you get over $1 million a year in wages, you go up like another nearly 5%. So like pretty much an extra $5,000 a month. So you can imagine just having those extra 3 staff members was almost like
pointless.
We were just paying for an additional amount of tax. So,
and then we had to start doing that monthly as well, which is just like, oh God.
And so like obviously we've been working towards the franchise model, because the way that we look at it is, with the franchise model, we get to have a win in all areas. We're still going to continue to scale the brand to a national level, but the difference with the franchise model compared to what we've done
retail store,
with the original plan, which was like to open up as many retail stores as we can, similar to the McDonald's prototype, build retail, get the bricks and mortar, sell the business, keep the freehold. That was the original plan. But now we just soon realised that it just takes way too much capital, in so many, with people, money, time,
fuel, equipment.
So like overheads, and again, you're investing in people that just aren't invested in themselves. And so with the franchise model, we can continue to scale the brand because we're going to get people investing with their money, so they got skin in the game and passion, and we're going to be coaching other small business operators that are underneath our brand and help them and make them successful. So we're sort of like winning. We're escaping all the things that we don't really enjoy, which is like, I guess
the really stressful bits.
The bullshit, putting up with bits that just like don't give a Don't rock up to work. Don't rock up to work on time. Couldn't see the forest from the trees. When you help them out outside of work and stuff like that. Just to give you some context, I'm just going to give you some context of like the level of
Can we? But
individual.
we didn't actually talk
No,
about the good with who we sold the Kahuna store to.
We got distracted.
Started going on a
I went
tangent.
on a rant.
But that is because that is an example of an employee who we gave opportunity to, and he took it, and he will be our friend for life, and he will be our business partner.
So this is the difference of people. So we got two people come into the organisation. One was
like everybody else, start on the floor.
For like 2 years. He's actually been in the industry for like 20 plus years. And then we've got Jamie, who has recently bought the Kahuna business from us, who's been with us he didn't come too long after the other guy. This guy just like went above and beyond, just push, no questions asked, recognised opportunity, made his way into a management position from the floor, like within 12 months, always went above and beyond, really good attitude, would do anything for you.
But also pointed out when things like weren't right or maybe needed attention or like, he was not a walkover kind of guy.
No, he was a good leader in every way. He led from the front, really good guy. And, we would always extend the olive branch to help him in any way, shape or form. And as a result, because there was that mutual relationship within the business, he wasn't an employee to us, never was. Maybe at the start, but like he soon became a friend, and then now, and then
a peer,
a business partner,
yeah,
and now somebody that I have a business relationship with, and he's running his own show up there, and he's absolutely killing it. So that's one side of the pendulum, and then the other side of the pendulum is this other clown who was with us for 2 years. This is the story, right? I'm sorry I'm getting wound up about it, but I want you to understand that this is what people are like. It doesn't matter where you go, who you with, what you're doing. These people are among us, and I just like it's tarnished me so much, and to the point where like
it's sad.
Other people that are going to come across me or work for me or be my friend, it's like I just like I'm not going to have the same lens as what I used to with people. So this dude.
And I just want to say that like there's always a good cop and a bad cop in business. I'm always the bad cop. James is like the most nicest. He would never rock the boat with anybody. I'll be the one to be like provide the discipline, and it would never be him. So when he goes off, he goes off, and it's for reason.
It takes a hot minute, but so this bloke, when he first started with us, obviously didn't have any annual leave. His father passed away, and out of the goodness of our hearts, like I would hope anybody would do, we still, because he's got not much money.
He just always said he never had any money. He always whinged about not having money.
Yeah, it's a typical story. But so we paid him for 2 weeks, even though he didn't have annual leave. No strings attached. And then months go by, and then he comes to me crying after work one day, literally in tears, because he hasn't taken his family away on a holiday in 6-7 years, and because they've got no money, and blah blah blah, and interest rates and all that. So Jemima, I said, mate, you give me dates. I said, I'll make it happen. He literally came to me with the dates
that day.
No, I forgot. He came to me the same day
that he
drove a truck to a job site and ran into a forklift and caved the door in. He got back from that job where he caved the door in and gave me his dates.
He didn't offer to fix the door.
Didn't offer to fix the door either. And
he didn't even say, "I'm so sorry. Like, can I help?"
Or can I chip away at paying off the door for the next 2 weeks?
Or let's go halves
or anything. No, he came into my office not to talk about the door, to give me his dates for his fucking holiday.
We paid for the holiday.
I said, no worries. It was like $1,100. Paid for an Airbnb for his whole family. Filled his car up with diesel, so he could drive 4 hours down to the location, go on holidays. no strings attached. And then, so that goes by. Then relationship goes to shit. And then, so he wants to discuss his options for, if he was to separate. So we said, look, we've got a friend of ours. They're a solicitor. If you want to catch up with her, we'll make it happen just so you can see what your options are. Organise that. And then
his car rego was due.
Car rego
he
was
didn't
due,
have his
paid for
tax
the rego.
return yet.
And then he broke up with his partner. And so he called me before 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, 5 times in a row, came over here when we had friends up from Melbourne, cried in my lounge room for like hours. And I just supported him. Yep, no worries, man. Like, whatever we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. While we had friends up, they all went out for breakfast without me. The list goes on. Oh, that's right. And then he started whinging about how, work's getting hard, blah, blah, blah. And so we employed his son to double up with him on jobs. So it was essentially...
And you paid for him to go to physio multiple times.
So it was essentially paying for 2 people to do one person's job for 3 or 4 months. Thinking to myself, oh, well, he'll get trained up and, be a long-term investment. He'll be a good asset hopefully in a couple of years. And then just before Jemima had the baby, we're trying to like declutter the amount of workload that Jemima was doing. And so we were going over to this app where you clock on, you clock off, and so your hours just get submitted. Any overtime or anything like that gets submitted to the app, and so all the pays just go in straight away on a Monday. Whereas at the time we were doing like he was getting cash
because everybody's on a salary. So there's, we say to our staff, they're all on good salaries, and their salary means that they get paid for every Saturday, but they only work every second Saturday.
Anyway, I'm not going to go into it.
No, yeah, and
don't do salary. Just there's too much grey area, and the good ones get it because they realise like when it's quiet they still get paid. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. And so anyway, did the app thing, and then he came to me and said that's not going to fly because it's going to interfere with his wife's Centrelink. And so he can't get paid anymore on the books. And I said, mate, I'm sorry, but like that's not my problem. It's just going to be another job for Jemima. And I just like, we're trying to take as much workload off her as we can because she's about to have a baby. And so he came in the next week.
No, the next day.
And gave us 2 weeks notice the week before we were about to have a baby. And like, I said, oh, I said, mate, what's the go? I said, what's the problem? Oh yeah, we found something else, and I'm taking my son with me, and
there's a better opportunity.
There's a better opportunity, and I was like, that's fine. I said, but can you just at least give me until the end of the year? We're about to have this baby. I said, I just want to have like at least a few days off. When Jemima has the baby, we don't know if she's going to have a C-section or, I said, just stick out until the end of the year and then do whatever you want. No, we've already committed to this job. And I said, what about everything we've done for you, mate, over the last couple of years? Surely that must be some sort of, like a bit of give and take here, buddy. And he said, what have you done for me? And I just rattled off those things I said to you. And his response was, yeah, but you knew who that lawyer was, so that wouldn't have cost you any money. And I was just like, damn. Like, this is the caliber of human beings that we're dealing with here. And like, I know if you're listening to this and you're in small business, that like this is probably this is ringing home for some of you because like you have been f***ed that many times by people that have just got no backbone whatsoever. They've got no social conscience, no moral compass. They're cowards, and they rely on the system to fucking feed their families instead of making it happen themselves. And I'm so done. I'm fucking done with dealing with these people. And that's what I know it's a bit of a long-winded story, but like, and I'm getting a bit wound up, but like, I've been dealing with it for years now, and I've had this beautiful daughter of mine, and I'm not going to keep on putting up with it. So, yeah, we did a lot of planning over the Christmas break.
But so obviously this staff member, we just said to him, just leave straight away. We do not want somebody like that in our organisation when we're, about to have a baby. So that essentially meant that James went to doing not only all of the business work, but all of the labour work. So he's doing all the call outs, all of harvest by himself, any tyre repairs, any on site, because we didn't really have another person sort of, there's no tyre fitters, there's especially very limited on-site tyre fitters. We had a casual guy who was extremely helpful, and we're very, very grateful for him for coming in when he can.
He had a heart attack.
But he has his own health issues, so we don't want to put too much pressure. So basically the 2 weeks before I was having the baby, and then, the 2 weeks after leading into Christmas and New Year, James was the only person doing all the labour work, all of his other business work.
We had the baby on the Saturday, and I was back at work on the Monday. And it's just like...
And that's business.
And that's business. And I take full responsibility, and it's part of it. You got to get back on the horse, and like, you're going to have seasons where it's all hunky-dory, and then you're going to have seasons where it's and you think, why have I gotten into this in the first place? And
yeah, but I think in 2023 we learnt that the whole season was pretty much there was some really good gems, but a lot of it was and we felt like a lot of it was and like, we are the bosses, we're the people that always say, if there's something that goes wrong, it's always our fault. But there were so many things that sort of happened to us outside of our ability to control that we just went, it's just not fair.
Yeah. And, and we, after like deep reflection, like with the Kerwin Rae thing, reflecting on our purpose, our vision, mission and values. And we come to the conclusion over the Christmas break, we did some like 2 or 3 days of planning and obviously deep discussion. And the reason that we've had issues is because we have moved ahead with things that are out of alignment. So with people that don't align with our values, and things that don't align with us, and for the sake of temporary short gain, and we're not doing that anymore. So we got very clear on our vision, mission, and values again with Alpha Tires, and we got very clear on our personal vision, mission, and values, and 2024 we've got a very meticulous plan to exit, not completely out of Alpha Tires, but exit out of retail. So pretty much what we've done with Kahuna, we'll be doing with our Echuca Moama store, the OG. So our manager that's there at the moment is super keen and another thriving individual that we would invest the ends of the earth into. And one of the boys down in our Melbourne operation, he's going to be one of our first franchisees. So essentially, we're aiming for end of financial year to be out of retail. And
financial year?
End of financial year, which is,
June.
That was
I thought we said the end of the year. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
End of financial year, we said. Okay. Yeah. That's the goal, but like, it's like between then and end of calendar year. Yeah. And so like, I guess we're going to slip into a bit more of a corporate role as for where we are. Like, I guess we'll be, marketing, branding, coaching, mentoring.
For the franchise.
Because like one of the things that we want, one of the promises we want to bring to our franchisees is that we do basically like guarantee their success like within 60 days. Which is a big promise to make for somebody starting out in business, but I'm super confident with what we've done over the years that we'll be able to provide that for our franchisees with what we have planned. But basically, like going back to what Jemima was saying, it's just like we're super passionate about motivating other people and like building businesses, And so, like, that's what we want to just pour all of our energy into. We're not really interested in small business anymore. We really want to take things to the next level. And, you know, being, you know, in this original season, trying to line up way too many ducks, you know, in, how do you put it? In retail where you've got where it's a family owned operated business, it's just, it's too much.
And I think that's what we learned as well, is contrary to what, people say, retail is not dead and trade services are not dead. It is getting harder and harder, but I think what we experience, or even what we say now, is if for one day our manager's away and it's James and I running Moama, or for example when we lost all of our staff and James was running Kahuna and I was running Moama, owner operators will smash it any day of the week.
Oh, 100%.
You will make so much money and you will not fail. But for us, when we were sort of half there and half not, and then sometimes James would be in Melbourne one day a week, we have to fly down to Kahuna, and the customers do want to see the owners working the business. But we had we started our freight business, we started the wholesale tyre business. I was pregnant. James started investigating his coaching. I was still doing my DJing on the side. You can only split the atom so many ways. And for us, we had to make a decision of okay, well, what's the lowest hanging fruit? And, instead of trying to, Alex Hormozi does a fantastic video about this, of how to make your first $1 million. And he lines up all these cups. 100%. He's we'll just put a little bit into all of these little cups and, see which one fills up the quickest. And it's well, no, none of them are going to fill up the quickest. You need to fill up one first and then overflow and overflow and overflow.
So let's say this is you and this is your time and attention that you have to pursue any new opportunity. So you say, I need 7 income streams because the average millionaire has 7 income streams. So I'm going to spread myself thin between 7 different opportunities. And while I do that, I'm going to be multitasking, trying to fill different cups at the same time with different colors. And I'm somehow going to wait until one of these things takes off, right? I have to see which ones of these will work. But the reality is, it's not which of these ones will work. Any of them could work if you put the work in, but you have to reach a threshold. Once you get to the top, the extra cash starts spilling over and you actually have a profitable opportunity.
So we've kind of, what's the Steve Jobs quote where it's in hindsight, everything is so much clearer, whatever it is.
It's easier to connect the dots going backwards.
Yes.
And it's so true.
So we started with all the cups and then we sort of have consolidated them all. And, now we're feeling a lot better.
Oh, yeah, just a lot clearer. And yeah, I guess we're just not going to be as diluted as what we have been over the last 12 months. And, I remember Ashy came up to me and said, when everything was just before Christmas, and he's like, bro, don't you wish you just stuck with the one shop and just smashed it? And I said, Ashy, honestly, bro, if I had just done that, I would have been making good $200,000-300,000 a year. It would have been pretty cruisy, would have had a pretty small team. I said, but there's no way known I would have learned as much as what I've learned compared to the last 4 years, dipping my fingers into so many pies. And I really think it's just made me a well-rounded operator. And it's going to navigate me so much further because I've just developed a skill set that I wouldn't have been able to get just staying in the same spot and just listening to podcasts and all that sort of stuff. You got to be in the trenches in the thick of it to learn the real shit. And what we've learned over the last 4 years, from just being completely naive and ignorant to
optimistic. That's what I just want to say is you operate very differently. I do not know anybody else ever has ever operated like this, or very, very few people. Whereas James has no fear of failing or falling, whereas I'm more conservative. Again, when we talk about the balance in business, he will literally just think of something, and he did it to me the other day. He's just put up this thing and we'll just see what happens. And I'm no, for me, I need to stack things up, whereas he just jumps in. We'll pick up our own tires. Now we'll start a free business.
She just gave herself a little plug.
No, I didn't.
Jemima is getting into business coaching in the new year.
I'll also be hiring a full-time nanny if anybody would like to do that.
Keep the listeners open. She's coming to town. And
Anyway,
she's going to fucking crush it.
But, you know, there's very, very, very few people, James, who could do what you've done and just not be afraid. I remember even a couple of years ago, there's another beautiful, beautiful man in business who you look up to, Mr. Paul Eade. We're at this night at the pub, at a whiskey night, and these two were just getting absolutely hammered. And Paul kind of just said a couple of things to him. We just bought the hire equipment. He's like, but how are you doing it? And James is just like, oh, just did it. Just get them on a line and just market them and hire them out. And, you know.
That failed, by the way.
It doesn't matter. It didn't fail. It was a nightmare, but it didn't fail because we learnt from it.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't have learnt
it only failed because I just was like, this is a bad idea, and we just stopped doing it. It wasn't like we could have pursued it like the poor bastards that like do that for a living, but like I soon realised same thing. You're dealing with idiots. Like you're dealing with people that hire machinery and they don't even have a driver's license, and you know they're calling you on a Sunday and they're like, "Oh, I've just bogged your digger in my own hole that I just dug."
what happened?
It is that happened.
He
He was up in Kahuna, no bullshit. He was digging.
I don't think he's paid actually. He was a real asshole, man. I remember you called up the shop and abused me.
He was digging a trench and
No, he was digging a den.
no, he was digging. No, that's a different. That's what I mean. That's another dickhead. He was digging a trench and then he backed into his own trench and fucking broke the track on the machine, and it was hilarious.
Shout out to Northern Hire. You're a great business.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah, have fun with that.
I don't even know who you are. You speak shit about us. No, so anyway.
He's that one with the like weird hair, like the.
Wouldn't know him. Wouldn't even know.
If we stepped over him.
But yeah, there's very, very few people who could do what James has done. And I think also, like, in hindsight, is that it can be the way that James operates. Like, I'm used to it and I get frustrated and I'll just, like, you know, say my piece and then get over it, just scurrying around behind him, picking up pieces and moving them along. But
fixing
for
things.
some of our staff, for some people, it can be when you're working very, very closely with entrepreneurial sort of people that operate like that, and we don't sort of have that like middle management level, it can be really stressful because they just, you know, they can see so many different things going on. It can feel a little bit tumultuous or unstable, and it's not. It's just, you know, we can handle the heat in the kitchen, but it can sort of stress other people out. So, you know, working in small business for employees isn't always easy as well. So, you know, we say that, you know, staff and, you know, we felt like we got the shit end of the deal and we felt like we got fucked on this year. And I think that we did, but sometimes it's just not the right fit for the staff member either.
100%. And that's what I said. We take complete ownership over it. And I think that's why we're pivoting. Because it's like, how do we get into a business model that suits what we like to do? Because at the end of the day, if you're in business, you need to enjoy what you do, and you need to enjoy the.
Because you're going to do it 100 hours a week.
It's not always. It's not all enjoyable. It's not like yeah, you know, like the business.
Doing the fun bits.
Doing business, man. Like, it's hard as and like, you know, you are going to get burnt out, and if you're not super passionate about it, like, forget it. You're not going to be able to get through what we've been able to get through. Like, because, and Jemima and I have talked about this a bit. You know, tires aren't sexy, but it's like you have to be passionate about, like,
the big picture.
Building.
Yeah.
You have to be passionate about creation.
Yeah.
Being creative and watching things, you know, happen and grow because of the work that you put in. But when you have people that are in the organisation that are out of alignment, and it's just not. Yeah, we've outgrown this level of business, I think. You know, this and
still hand on heart though, like I genuinely I enjoy it. Like when all I'm doing is like being present in one of the retail stores or working on the floor or dealing with the customers, like when that's sort of like your sole focus, That's so it's actually really fun, and we do it really well. And we talked about this at the end of the year. It's like when you've got a really strong team and you're all, rowing the boat the same way, it's actually really, really fun. Like selling tires is fun. Sales is fun. Business is fun. But I think, again, when you're filling up all of the cups and you've got so many other things going on, and then, the wheels fall off one person, so then you're hobbling along, as a 3-wheeled donkey instead of a strong, cart. It just becomes too hard. So before we get distracted anymore, I think we should do a summary of 2023, a bit of a year in review. Talk about Samsara a little bit. Start of 2024.
I feel like we've just whinged and everyone just like vented to all of you guys, but like,
It was really hard.
it was tough. It was a fucking tough year.
I thought 2022 was the tough year. Like 2023 was actually way tougher. And just also want to say that people go on about, when you have this kid, da 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 da. Bro, having a baby is a walk in the park.
We deal with
after
man
running
babies.
The adult daycare. It's actually, even on her worst days, it's really not that bad.
No, look, reflection on 2023. We learned that you give people an inch, they're going to take a mile. And we figured out if you sacrifice your values for short-term gain, it's going to bite you in the ass. And we realised what we want to do. And it's like we want to continue building our business, but we want to do it remotely. We want to do it with other people that want to thrive. And for us to do that, we need to just quit beating around the bush and trying to like hold on to keep all this retail going while we're focusing on going corporate, while we're focusing on wholesale, and while I'm getting into the coaching. And we're just putting our eggs into baskets that have maximum leverage, minimum
Effort.
or minimum, like very small team,
Yeah.
and very fat fucking margins.
And it's not because we don't want to work with teams. Like we love working with people. We're very people orientated. We are people orientated people.
But the people need to be motivated.
Yeah.
Like I'm done flogging dead horses.
Yeah. So 2023, a year in review. We fell pregnant. We expanded Melbourne. We expanded Moama. So we spent a lot of money and time in Moama. We started up the detailing. We absorbed, another local business, and we set up a whole detailing booth. That failed. See you later, $30,000 plus. We had the freight company, and we closed that down. Also, another story to tell. What else? We've started the franchising project, which is super exciting. We bought on and finished paying off the wholesale business. Was it worth the level of investment that we had to pay? Maybe not. But did it open our eyes to a brand new sort of area of business that we're really keen to sink our teeth into? 100%.
What I learnt out of it, because we did 2 acquisitions in 2023.
We spent a lot of money to invest.
What I learnt with acquisition is probably, again, connecting the dots backwards is always a lot easier. And, some of you probably listening are like, duh. But
They fucking haven't done it, babe. So.
But don't invest in a business when it heavily relies on its goodwill or IP that isn't systematized and documented. So that was the reflection I had, because both acquisitions didn't work out. They just cost me a lot of money.
But that's okay.
I wouldn't say like the wholesale one. It did work out. I established a lot of contacts, and it was like a business model that I just didn't even know it existed. So like for what I paid to buy into that, it really opened up my eyes to opportunity in dropshipping, I guess. And so that was pretty exciting. Like we, on a positive note, so like we've been dropshipping containers of truck tires all around Australia. So we don't see the tyres. We don't have any staff members. All we do is run ads. People
Contact
get in
us?
contact with us. We quote them up and contain it to Darwin, Townsville, all around Australia. And it's more of a brokerage service, I guess, that we offer. And it's super scalable with massive upside and very slim team and overheads, which is like what we so we're going to double down on that one. And that wholesale hub that we've got, so we've been importing containers of tyres into Melbourne to sub-distribute a brand exclusively, and so that's going to be like basically like a big buying group that's going to support our franchisees. And so when our franchisees come in, they're essentially buying at big dog pricing because of the volume that we do through the wholesale and through our other retail chains.
And the reason why we want to offer that is because when we started our, independent, our sole trader business, Alpha Tires, we had zero buying power. So how could we be competitive in our sales with these big corporates when they're selling their truck tires for nearly the price that we buy?
Yeah.
So we're really passionate about that. And so the franchise project is really exciting. James has got his new little bestie.
Yeah.
Jace.
Jace from H2H. He's
Legend.
he's been really good. I've established a really cool business sort of friendship with him. We're completely polar opposite human beings. It's very clear. But I think we complement each other. And he's actually coming on board with our business coaching services. So he comes on every second month, and he's a HR and systems expert. So
things that we're not good at, planning, systems, processes.
He's an accountant as well. So he's the guy that's responsible for systematizing the franchise model. So basically documenting everything and putting it into a platform called System Hub. So it's basically like the Alpha Tires Bible. So when our franchisee comes on board, they can basically log into the portal, and if they need to figure out how to wipe their ass, they can go in, log in, and there it is right there, step-by-step process.
But again, in hindsight, when you start a business, like when we started Alpha Tires, there was not a single system, process, blah, blah, blah. It's all in your head. So we wanted to make sure, we're very, very passionate about making this franchise model, the most, accessible, successful, and, problem-free opportunity for our franchisees as possible, and that does mean doing all of the, sorry, Jace, boring shit, policies, procedures, systems that we think of in our heads, but you have to be able to provide that to someone.
Well, that's the whole point of
and we can't do it.
It's the whole point of buying into a franchise is we've been We've been through the ringer the last 4 years. And so we want to make sure that our franchisees come on board and they don't make the mistakes that we made. And it's like a fast track opportunity for them to be successful. And it's going to complement my business coaching services because essentially we'll be offering a similar sort of cadence to, new franchisees where we're, keeping them on track and accountable, give them the systems that they need, access to our finance team. Joshy, one of our clients, is in disability support, and he's just an owner-operator at the moment, and he's looking to bring on 2 new team members. And I said to him, while you're in these infant stages of business, it's this is the perfect time to be documenting every little thing that you do in your business, because right now it is a very small job, whereas for us it's costing us tens of thousands of dollars. So anyone in small business, no matter what level you're at, you might have a bigger business than what we do, and it's if you don't have the systems, you just sort of you're not setting yourself up to fail, but it's going to make everything so much harder.
Yeah, and you are vulnerable, James. We've been very vulnerable.
And again, Leah, like you said, because we've grown so fast, and we haven't had those systems, at the start. I think it's a desirable workplace as well. Some people need that, to fall back on,
the pillars.
Where where's your SOPs? Where's your standing operating procedure? And it's important. It's super important. But but yeah, so we
And then the coaching. So
and then got into the coaching about 6 months ago. Just sort of feeling it out for the first sort of 6 months. Really, just doubling down on social media, and you know, I get a couple bit of heat off it a little bit.
Yeah.
A few haters and that sort of thing. But what you need to understand with social media, guys, is like it is a massive opportunity vehicle for all of us, and whether you like it or not, you're either, and this is the funny thing about haters and quits that make fun of people having a crack on social media. The people having a crack on social media are making money. If you're not having a crack on social media and you're just scrolling, you're doing that for free. You are literally like wasting hours and hours and hours and hours of your life on social media, and you don't get a fucking thing out of it except for like resentment and lack of self-esteem and self-confidence. So personal brand, they've been saying it for years. 2024, you need to be building a personal brand if you're in business. And it's always been in the back of my mind. And I reached out to a coach about 6 months ago, and he really simplified the process and made me realize just how doable it is. And so I've just been doubling down and figuring it out as I go. And
but also investing. You've done a lot. You do the most research. Like we talk about scrolling on Instagram or whatever. Like anytime that James is not working, he's educating himself with podcasts, YouTube, learning from people, learning about digital marketing ads, learning about funnels, learning about sales, learning about coaching coaches, like you name it, he is learning about it.
Yeah, like I've invested like thousands of dollars over the last few months in
and tens of thousands of hours, babe. Like time.
But
when everybody else is sleeping, James is like literally still working, and it's very impressive.
Thanks, mate. But look, I'm super passionate about it because like I sort of reverting back to what we said earlier, it's like it's the best feeling in the world when you're a super motivated, passionate person like me, and you're motivating people that they're motivated as well, and they want it. They want it. They need it. They're fucking, and then you see them, have a win. They send you a message, and they're just like, tell you about a win that they've had in their business, or you've improved their mental health in a way, or like you've improved their relationship in a way with their wife or their kids. Like there's this one dude that messaged me, and he wasn't even a client, and I sent him a voice message, and it was pretty intense, but it was just like boom, straight to the point. And he did what I told him to do, and he messaged me and he goes, bro, like things have been like completely changed. Had a massive pivot, I've stopped drinking and I've been going to the gym, and my relationship with my kid and my wife has improved, and like it's cool, compared to like investing the time into people and then they just go and f you from behind. It's like, yeah, I love it. And so
it really energizes you, and that's
yeah.
when you know that it's like where energy flows. It's like that's where you need to sort of keep focusing on.
100%. And I'm not going to lie, I think it's a super scalable business because I listened to Alex Hormozi a little while ago, and he said he was talking to Russell Brunson, who was the founder of ClickFunnels, and he said Hormozi was in a pretty similar position to us. He had all these retail gyms, similar to us having all these retail tire businesses, and spinning his wheels how he's going to do this with retail. And then Russell Brunson said to him, he's just like, dude, it's a shit idea. And Hormozi is like heartbroken. He's like, what do you mean? This is the best idea ever. And he's just like, dude, you've got a level 10 skill set at a level 3 opportunity, and it sort of hit home for me because I do believe I do have that higher skill set where I'm really good at building businesses and helping people grow. But at this retail level, it's not going to give me the return that I'm chasing. So,
and we're very passionate as well about like it can be very hard when you're we no longer want to be the smartest person in the room, the person with all the answers. We want to be the dumbest person in the room, the one that is like the most humbled and sitting there like absorbing the information and constantly learning. It can be very, very hard in business, in life in any sort of circumstance
Yeah.
when you're the one feeding everybody else all the time.
And it does happen, and there's some of you listening. That's probably why you're listening, because you can relate to what we're talking about. You get, once you sort of start getting any sort of success, the people that were cheering in your corner at the start when you were the underdog start to sort of like drift away, and sort of like
Turn on you.
resent, and like, and you just find it hard. I've just found it hard on a social level, since we've lived in Echuca, because like small country town, growing our business, and we've only really, that's an exciting part about 23 actually. We've only really just met a good group of friends last year, really.
Met our people.
So there's a small clan of us. All of us have our own businesses.
But that's not even it,
It's not about having businesses. It is in a way, but it's like
get each other.
It's like the conversations are quite energizing and open, and like I feel like I can give some input and guidance, and then I'll be listening to Russ, and he'll be giving me some input and guidance, and I'll be like, I feel like it's mutual, give and take with value and energy, and you don't feel, you're getting the fucking life drawn out of you, like when you hang around with people that are just constantly take, like not take like from a physical standpoint, but like energy level, like you've got to get something back out of relationships. I think it's not transactional, but like somebody's got to fill up your cup if you're filling up theirs.
Yeah. And like being in a small town and like being so busy is like we just sort of didn't find those people until we met these guys, and that just makes life so much brighter, I think, when you've got friends like that are just around the corner, or like, because a lot of our friends still live in Melbourne, or they live in Sydney, or like, they live overseas.
Sunny Coast, you pricks.
And, you can talk to them on the phone and all that, but sometimes you just like you just need to go for a coffee with someone, or just, go for a swim, or invite them around, or, watch the UFC together or something like that. And I think that was the one thing for us that was missing in Echuca. So we were probably very selfish. We were just driving the truck forward in our business, and it doesn't allow for a lot of room because we work 6 days a week or 7 days a week, so it's nice to have these people that get that, and it's so easy. So we love you guys. Family.
The family. Don't get us wrong, like I know we're having a whinge. It's really just like a lot of disappointment in 23 with people. But
people and opportunities.
I said to Jemima, like, I'm a bit of a spiritual dude, so don't judge. But I really think that God has been like trying to talk to us and say, like, with all these things that have come up, and like I literally haven't even listed half of the shit that's happened. But I really think it's like God tapping us on the shoulder and being like, guys, you need to make a pivot, because like this
isn't for you anymore.
It's not aligning with you anymore, bro. You need to you need to focus on what it is you love doing, and you need to double down on that, and you need to cut the fucking shit, and start really getting a return on what you've been investing in. And that's why we said it's at the end of a chapter, like this last 4 years, what we've learned, the skill set that we've got, the financial foundation that we've built. It's enormous.
How to deal with the very low lows sort of reflex that we've got now. It's like the things that we used to worry about, we don't even worry about, and wouldn't even worry about for 2 seconds. On James's coaching, and one of his most dearest friends actually solidified this to James. This isn't an overnight success. Like the coaching and the foundations and what James is teaching the clients that invest, that invest in him as their coach. James has learnt this shit. He has been hustling to get to this point for like over 10 years. Not only the retail stuff, all of the other business ideas, all of the thoughts, all of the self-education, all of the, self-development.
Part of like our mission is to, with the coaching, is to, as the business scales, we want to scale the value. So like as it grows, the value only increases, and with obviously the capital that we'll be able to give us access to, new partners and all that sort of stuff. And I really want to turn that into something that like I wish I sort of had. Where there was that support there, that sort of brotherhood, that and support in all aspects. Like I've got one skill set which is definitely being able to see where people are at in business and then giving them a clear action plan for their next steps to get towards their goals. That's me to a T. But we're also bringing in the partners like Lockie, who's a Google SEO local traffic expert. He comes on every second month. We've got Jace from H2H, HR and systems every second month. So we've got Dan, my personal accountant. He comes on once a month. So anything like accounting and all that sort of stuff, you can reach out to him, bring your questions. He's also got an 8-figure property development company, so we can talk things property as well, property development.
Any sort of financial
Maximizing, your super with property. Like he's a fucking wizard. And then we bring on a special guest once a month as well. And that guest will have a 7 to 9 figure business. So as we scale, we'll obviously bring on bigger guests. But yeah, it's super exciting. I'm super pumped to scale it, and build that community of like-minded individuals that just want to crush it. So yeah, if you are interested, reach out. I'd be super keen to have a chat. But yeah, before we get into Q&As, you want to do a quick, I guess, let you know where we're going in 2024. So exiting retail, rolling out the franchise model. We hope to have 3 to 4 franchisees by the end of the calendar year. And we've done the math, and Jemima and I believe that we'll be able to get to about 3 or 4 franchisees before we have to bring on any additional team. And we really want to scale the coaching business, really want to double down on that. Jemima's going to, obviously I do it with men, because I want to create that safe space for men, and a community for men, because I do believe in this day and age we need to support and encourage masculinity and building men up again. So that's why I've sort of kept it as just blokes. And as on the other side of the coin, Jemima's considering getting into it for you chicos, the girlies, which would be fantastic. And I think she's going to crush it. Just quietly. And the most exciting part, and the reason that we are doing all this, is because we want to f*** off ski from Echuca, and we want to sort of just rove between. Planning on roving between Bali, Dubai, and Echuca, sort of in the last half of the year, and pretty much moving forward, that's what we want to do as a bit of a lifestyle change.
Yeah, we just want some of our life back,
and
hustling.
The thing is, like, no offense to Echuca, like there's some great people here, but like the difference is, like, you go to Bali, dude. You go to fucking, like, I'm gonna sound like one of those woo Canggu wits, but like you go to Canggu, you go to like the Body Factory, you go chilling in the sauna. You're in the sauna with lads that are doing fucking millions online, professional athletes, like people that everybody's moving the needle in that fucking city. Like everybody's like trying to get to the next level. You go to Dubai, it's a completely, like, you feel like a peasant, like. And I want to be around people that are challenging me all the time. And I just feel like, I just can't get it.
Enough of it.
I'm just not getting it enough to get to where I want to get to. So that's the plan, dudes. We're going to jump into some Q&As.
Yeah.
We're really going to try and bring some value. We're really going to try and do this once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on how life goes. But there was a bit of those ones that we released, we recorded those like 6-7 months ago. But we're going to just try and do it as frequently as we can, because we got some really good feedback,
Yeah, and we got a bit more equipment now. So because of you do the coaching, we've got little mics. It's just a little bit easier.
Yeah.
It's not so easy. Thank you to my mother-in-law who's minding my beautiful daughter right now.
Yeah, thank you, Mum. But like, if you like it, dudes, like, make sure you rate it if it's on Spotify. Leave us a comment, like it on YouTube, subscribe.
This episode's a bit of a ranting one, but hopefully now we've got the rants out. Like, we'll be a bit more structured. Like,
Definitely, yeah, like, we've got, like, structured value. Like, and we've got a heap of stuff that we like wanted to
different topics.
that we want to bring. But today we're just like, let's just give a recap of 23, where we're going in 24 because it's the start of the year. And then we're going to be bringing some high value Q&As always on the tail end.
Yeah.
So make sure, shoot us some questions. We'll probably put a story up every time to let you guys know when we've got something coming up. But it'll be really structured on,
different areas of business or hot topics that are happening, statistically in Australia, where we are, whatever. Yeah. Mostly around different areas of business, I think.
Bring back Donald Trump.
Sure.
People hate that. Anyway, we'll jump to the Q&As. Yeah, the China virus. China.
China, 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 China.
Felt like we were back in COVID today because we can't drink the fucking water in Moama, so I had to go buy water.
We drank it anyway yesterday, and we both had to have a shit. You were sitting at the table. We actually went to my pa's 90th. 90 years old, and he literally...
He's so cool.
Got up and paid for everyone's lunch, like didn't give anybody the chance to go up and pay, and then got in his car and drove off, like a 90-year-old driving on the road. I don't know how he still got a license, but like, anyway, we went there. We both had to shit because we drank the water. Anyway, moving on to the Q&As.
Girly tummy.
So Brad Parker, you shot us a message, brother. So we've got 20-odd staff. I've just given you a bit of a rundown on the staff.
20, mate.
I'm a young farmer, really struggling with attracting good staff, keeping them motivated, and it's really holding me back. Dude, this is a massive problem in Australia right now.
Every industry.
Everybody.
Every person.
We went to Kerwin Rae's Nail It and Scale It event, 3-day event in Sydney. There was 400 people there from all walks of business, all different levels of revenue. And everybody got split into groups. There would have been about 10, 15 groups. And then each group had to bring up their biggest pain point in business. And every single group out of the 400 people said staff. And I don't want to we are going to have a sole podcast on this because it's a hot topic and we want to sort of talk about our opinion, why we think it is how it is.
And basically all of the things that Brad has just asked.
Yeah.
How do we find them? How do we keep them? Where are they? Where are you people? Where are these people? Anyway.
We know where they are. They're doing f*** all.
Or they're in Bali, babe.
Or they're in Bali, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, dude,
it's very hard.
We're going to get to that one. 100%.
Hang in there.
Honestly, like, as much as I've said, like, I'm tarnished and all that sort of stuff, you've really just got to just keep putting your best foot forward, trying to make your place the most ideal place to work. Invest in good gear and equipment. Give people, time off when they need it. Pay them, high, above award wage. Incentive bonuses. KPIs. Be there for them. Ask. It is personal. You're basically with these people more than your family. So ask them questions. How's their family? How's their wife? How's their kids? You need to be invested in your people. And like I said, I'm at my wit's end with it. I'm not going to lie. It's not fucking easy. But if this is the business route that you want to take and sort of scaling your agricultural game and you do need people, brother, you are going to just have to get creative and just keep putting in the effort with these people. And just be patient. There's no answer right now.
Where you live, Brad, but Facebook, especially if you're looking for agricultural and farm staff, there's a lot more backpackers actually coming through. Like I know around here, I'm seeing that a lot in our Echuca Moama community Facebook page, and there's a jobs page that we love to troll.
The jobs page is hilarious. You should see some of these clowns.
But it is, there's a lot of, and it's very interesting. Again, I don't want to go too much into it, but there are a lot of people posting. There are a lot of people, backpackers here that are doing their, that are needing to get their hours up for that next bit of their visa. So posting any of those groups, there's a lot of Facebook groups. Things are starting to turn around. As I said, I troll that group all the time. There are a lot of people looking for work now. And if you're offering those sorts of opportunities, you know, say them, say what you're paying, say it's $50 an hour, say it's $35 an hour, say it includes a farmhouse to live in, say all of the things and people will come to you. Just hang in there. We know how you feel. It's really hard.
And yeah, Philippines, I'm looking to do a workshop soon, which will be a free webinar. So have a look at the socials there. Bringing on what is he?
Skilled migration agent.
Skilled migration agent. So we've just invested in bringing a gentleman over from the Philippines. Cost about $15,000, but that $15K is not up front. It's only it's staggered across the time.
Yeah.
The laws did just change recently in December. It did take about 3 months to get somebody over here. Now it's going to take about 7, which deflated my balloon very quickly. But
there are
I honestly think that is the only way forward. Will be skilled migration
for labour and sort of blue collar.
It really is. Like in 10, mark my words, in 10 to 20 years time, our 90% of our labour force will be foreigners. It's just
but they want to work.
It's the way that Australia's going.
But they want to work.
Anyway, Krista, I have the idea. I just need courage and belief to start on my own. Always ran other people's businesses. Krista, if you've run other people's businesses, chances are you can run your own. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to build self-confidence with just thinking about things. Self-confidence comes from making strategic decisions and then getting some wins on the board. It's the only way that I've built self-confidence. I used to lack self-confidence for years. I still am quite self-conscious. And so it's a massive driving force for me to continue to win and my success to outweigh my insecurities, if that makes sense. And so you've just got to get some wins on the board, and that starts with action. What are your thoughts, babe?
So my thoughts would be, Krista, have a confidant, one or two, whether it's a friend, your mum, a sister, a coach, someone online, a little Instagram buddy. I've got a few of them. Nat Welfare is one of mine. I always love messaging her. Someone that is going to keep pepping you up, because you have to get somebody that's batting in your corner. And don't tell everybody, because there will be people out there that sort of are a bit naysayer or negative Nancy. You just need to find one or two people that you can say, hey, I've got this idea, I need you to keep pepping me up and help. If you don't have the confidence yet to self-start, then they're going to push you along. A coach is a really good option. James really invested in coaches. It doesn't have to be super expensive, and there are a lot that you can just pay week to week now.
There's free community groups as well.
Yeah.
We're looking to start a free community where we just, a little bit of exclusive content and, helping other people, a little bit of chat. If you've got questions, people can ask. So keep up for that.
There's a really good one for women in business on Facebook called Like-Minded Bitches Drinking Wine.
We interrupt this podcast to advise you that the following 10 minutes of footage are a little whack as Jem's phone decided to itself. Enjoy, motherfuckers.
Your phone's gone flat.
Has it not been filming? What do you mean?
Canavan Constructions, mindset shifts, routines and processes in business to take it to the next level. I've always had a burning desire for, wanting to do something bigger. And, I think that might have come from, insecurities when I was younger, and wanting to prove a point and, having that chip on my shoulder. So for some people that just don't really have that drive, it can be very hard. But I would suggest putting yourself in the right room would be the number one tip. putting yourself around high achievers, because that's going to make you move the needle. Ed Milet, he talks about it being the thermostat. If you're in a room full of 40 degrees, you're naturally going to adjust to 40 degrees. Whereas if you're in a room, if you're a 40 degreeer and you go into a room and everyone's sitting at 70, soon you're going to be elevating pretty quick. And so I think, getting involved with the community, investing in a coach or a mentor, or just, grow some balls, bro. There's going to be people in your community right now, like in your town or at the gym or wherever, and just, extend the olive branch and, try and meet and network with those people. I think that's the only way. If you haven't got that burning desire inside of you, you need to be around people that have that, so that you, you feed off their energy. Babe, well.
Yeah, and if you have a business partner or like a staff member that you work really closely with, or your partner, like James and I, we work together, but even before we worked together, we always sort of we tried to have a very open relationship and open communication and share these sort of thoughts, like, let your wife or your girlfriend or your partner or your bestie or whatever into how you're feeling, because they're the person that knows you the best. And they're definitely going to be the one to give you some feedback based on your personality and how you operate, which I think, will definitely, if you can't just sort of, as you said, get some balls, James, sometimes, just similar to Krista, you need to be around people that sort of like understand you and give you that little nudge to help you step into the next room. Yeah.
What's your best non-cringe way to nurture business relationships or potential clients?
I get that. Without like giving a gift or something. Is that what you mean? Or like calling them up and be like, hey, James is just, I think it just comes with time. You just get a little bit more confident. We had some amazing, customers in our retail business, Alpha Tires, that have been fantastic mentors to us. Dale Bowles, may he rest in peace, he is one of them, who James just sort of kept asking questions to. And I think originally, after we'd done business with him a couple of times, James said, like, would you be my mentor? Like, can I call you up? Can we go for a coffee? And anytime, his phone was always open. And,
Dale Bowles just recently passed, only a couple of weeks ago. He's a old school blue collar entrepreneur, had a roofing business and so many other things.
The most amazing man.
Amazing dude. Like, he had all the. I've said it about him prior to him passing. He's got all the pillars stacked up. He's got community. He's heavily invested in the fire brigade. Family, friends,
business. Creativity.
And he's an amazing dude. Business relationships. I've always been pretty front-footed with, when people come into my life, I do an analysis on them. Not in a weird way, but
cringe.
No, I always do an analysis on people, and you can soon tell by their behaviour. How they conduct themselves, the car that they drive, and
how they speak about other people.
How they speak, and so then it usually opens up the next phase, which is you asking the right questions. When you're in a room with somebody, like a potential, somebody that's in business, that you want as a friend sort of thing, so that you can learn from them and all that sort of stuff. Just don't be afraid to ask questions, because and just
most of the time
provide value to one another, and it'll just work.
Most of the time, a business owner is like, it's kind of like, it's a thing that I've learned too with mums. It's like a business owner is actually like itching for someone to ask them a question so they can pass on the knowledge and pass on the torch. Exactly the same as mums. Like, mums are just itching for you to ask about their kids so they can talk about them.
That's what absolutely fries me about staff.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. It's like staff members don't, like employees in general, not just with us, anywhere, they don't realise that like their boss, in most cases, has got so much value to bring in so many ways. All they've got to do is ask. All they've got to do is ask the right questions. And, I think that's what separates a lot of people is just like having the courage to just ask questions. And, like Jemima said, like people that are passionate about what they're doing. They love talking about it. And, yeah.
And I just thought of if what you actually meant is to do with sort of a different way of like building relationships within businesses in like you want them as a repeat customer. I'm not sure if this is what you mean, but something that we were always, especially when James was sort of more hands-on in Alpha Tires, like we were always thinking about ways to build relationships and get repeat customers, specifically other businesses, through the door. So we created a whole different gamut of packages targeting other businesses, which included discounted wheel alignments, free pickup and drop-offs, discounted sort of prices on tires, like trade prices. We still have some of those relationships with other businesses where we do trade prices for one another to help each other out, whether it's for roadworthy or for wheel alignments or whatever. So don't be afraid to get a bit creative about that and make yourself a little bit vulnerable and put yourself out there and go and approach some of those businesses if you want to develop those sort of, one-on-one relationships with, because most of the time they're going to just say, hell yeah, this looks amazing. Or they're going to go, oh yeah, I'll get back to you. Either way, you haven't lost something if they don't get back to you. But by putting yourself out there and, sharpening those deals a little bit, you're going to build that relationship with them. And that's going to strengthen your business. It's going to strengthen their business. And you never know how that relationship's going to turn out. You could become confidants. You could, they could become, that person you sit down and have a beer with and talk about all the dramas in business that you're experiencing. So yeah, that's something else that we did to sort of build relationships with other businesses in town. If you mean that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
I hope that recorded. That's really important.
Yeah, one of the phones looks like it's died. And it's one that's linked to the audio. So we'll see how the finale goes. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening again. We loved the feedback that we got from the last two. We actually recorded both of those on the same day because we were just trying to bank up before we sort of brought it to market. But yeah, we're just going to just go with it now.
Keep trying.
Just keep punching them out. So yeah, we appreciate the support with the messages. Really, yeah, couldn't thank you enough. But if you do have the time, if you could share it, subscribe to the channel and leave a rating on Spotify. It's definitely going to help us, take the show to that further. Yeah, take that show further. So thanks again. I hope you're absolutely smashing it. And you have a powerful day. Oh, I hope that's worked.
Well, that's annoying, babe.
No shit.
Is it dead? Or is it just overheated?
It's turning on.
Weird.